Okay, so let's start our topics today. Today we're going to discuss service account, read-only domain controller, NTDS util tools, Windows servers backup and recovery, recycle bin, Active Directory snapshot, password settings object. So these topics we're going to look at. So first topics we're going to look at: configure service authentications and account policies. So what is a service account? Service account is a account types is pretty similar like a user accounts. Normally, many different services is running inside our servers, and in the background, some of the services they need authentications. Those kind of scenarios, this service account works. For example, if I go to my servers, this is our Windows servers, and if I go to tools, and there's a tab called services. In Windows 10 machines, we have these services as well. There are many things, servers and client machines, they are pretty similar. So there are many services, some of them we have installed, some of them was already over there. So all these services is running. We can see so many services they are running. We maybe know about DNS servers, we may know about DNS client, we may know about Active Directory domain services, but in the back end, there are many other services is running, such as some Hyper-V stuffs is running, many different features they are running. So by default, all these services, they require the authentications. So some services, we have the username and password. For example, if we tried some of the background intelligence transfer, this one, if we go to properties, log on. Now this one doesn't have any service account. Let me find out. Browser, computer browser, not this one. Plastic. Now if we go to credentials managers, properties, no. DCOM or DSCP client properties. Yes, look at that. DSCP client properties. For example, there's a local service is running. This account name is local service, and there's a password. These things we haven't configured, but it's still there. So in our servers or in Windows 10 machines, there are many different services running, and they need a password. Username and password, they are mostly known as service account. Service account, we don't have to create, we don't have to manage, we don't have to do anything with the service account, but they exist. But some scenarios in Windows servers, if we need, we can create service account. And we can, once we create the service account, many different services will be able to use those service accounts. It's not mandatory that you have to create this one. This is one optional services. So Windows servers, you have a managed service accounts or group managed service accounts. So there are two options we have. With that, we can create service account. So managed service account, mostly we configure for one devices or one services, and group managed service accounts, like same account can be used for multiple services. So this is the two options we have, and we can create these two service accounts. So if we want to create the service account, there are a few options. One of the options we need to create with PowerShell command. There's a specific PowerShell command. We can create this service account, and after that we'll be able to install in one of the servers, and after that this service account can be used for many different services. So these topics, you just review these topics. It's not like a very mandatory options you have to do it, but just need to know that what is the service account, how it works. For example, this one, if you create a service account, then browse and you can grab those account, you can put it here and automatically it will create the password. So you don't have to create the password as well. So this is the information about service account. This is also known as virtual accounts. You cannot create, delete, manage the passwords for virtual accounts. They exist automatically and are a representations of the local computer account when used to access apps or resources. So this is the scenario we are using these services. Configure Kerberos constraints delegations. So this is one of the options we have. With that, we can authenticate one services by another services. So that means you have, let's say, you have one services. For example, you have your one of the services running in here and another services running in your network. This is server 1. This is server 2. So as a client, when you access one of the servers, so if you have a access to these servers, automatically you have a access to there. So that's kind of like it is extending the authentications to another servers. So this one is talking about in here. In some situations, app or services might make connections to remote apps or services installed on the other server computers. In essence, these connections are being made on behalf of client computers connecting to the originating app or services. So this scenario occurs when a front-end service communicates with a back-end service on behalf of users on client computers using the back-end app. To support this scenario, it is necessary to use authentications delegations. This is the process where the authenticating authority allows a service to act on behalf of another services. So computer equal to get dash computer identity web servers, set ad computers launch server 2 dash principals allowed to delegate account computers. So that means if someone has access to these servers, so it will have access to web services as well. So that's how we can configure one servers to provide authentications to another servers in some specific scenarios. So these things is related with service account and services. So pretty much we just need to get some idea around that. Hi Manish, how's going?
Good.
That's good. So you got the TeamViewer details as well in the chat sections. So please check and then logged into your servers as well. Now this section we're going to look at configure RODC. RODC stands for read-only domain controller. So RODCs provide an alternative to a fully writable domain controller, such as branch office or locations where a service cannot be placed in a secure physical environment. So this section we're going to discuss RODC. So let's have a look. What is RODC? So in our context in here, we have read-only domain controllers. No, this is our main domain controller. So let's create maybe another example. Let's say this is our DC domain controller, DC01. This is our main servers. And these servers, we have a Active Directory domain services and all these things. And with that, we are managing all the objects such as users, computers, groups, OUs. We are managing all these things. And this is in Sydney. For example, Sydney.local. So this domain controller located in Sydney. Now let's say we have another branch office in Brisbane. This is maybe DC02, or in our case, we're going to configure RODC. RODC stands for read-only domain controller. And this is in Brisbane. So in Brisbane, maybe few people they are working, only some users working over there, like user 1, user 2, like that. Now these people, when they logged into their computers, they will get authentication from the Sydney servers. If we do not have any RODC, let's say we don't have any RODC, then what will happen? This user, they're located in remote locations. So they will connect to the Sydney servers via wide area network connections. When? So every time these people, they want to log into their computers, their authentications is verified from Sydney servers. So this is a long distance wide area network connections. Sometimes is good, sometimes they may have some problem as well, because his authentications goes these servers and come back, so it takes long time. So this kind of scenario, we can provide another domain controllers in the remote branch office, such as this one. If we put another domain controller in the branch office, then security could be one of the issues. Like if someone logged into that servers, if someone get into these servers, they may make many issues over there. There might be some security issues over there. For that purposes, we can create read-only domain controller. Read-only means exactly same servers, it will be copied over there as a read-only format. And this one will be able to provide all authentications and everything in here, but the servers will be read-only. That means if anybody logged into these servers, they'll not be able to make any changes. So if you create a user in here, for example, you create a username called Mina, for example. So this name will be replicate, user will be replicate in here. It's a one-way replications will be there, read-only. It will be read-only replications. Read-only replications, but this one will be your another secondary domain controller, and that's why we call it RODC. So many businesses, they have like that. For example, they have a head office in Sydney or Melbourne, but they have some services located in remote areas. So that remote areas, we can put another servers over there, physical servers or virtual servers on that locations physically. So those kind of scenario, we don't want to put that servers in a risk. So that's why we can make that one as a read-only. In this way, remote locations, if anybody access that services, still it will be read-only. So there's no security issues. So now we're going to learn how to configure these read-only domain controllers, and we're going to check some options. So any questions about read-only domain controllers?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So when do you decide to set up an RODC? What is your kind of like a benchmark when to decide to set up an RODC or not? What is your
So,
decision factor?
for example, in Brisbane, only 10 people working. For that, you don't need a full domain controller over there. Maybe you can deploy one of the RODC because less people working over there. So those people, they need a authentication. So you can put a read-only domain controllers over there. But if you do not put read-only, the problem is security issues. Okay, so what we'll do, let's do a bit of discussions. Then after that, I think it will be easy for you. RODCs provide an alternative to a fully writable domain controller, such as branch office or in locations where a server cannot be placed in a secure physical environment. RODC can provide the functionality of a domain controller without potentially exposing your RDS environment to unnecessary risk. RODC has a read-only copy of an Active Directory domain service which contains all the domain objects but not all their attributes such as password informations. RODCs offer improved security, faster logon times, and more efficient access to local resources. RODC administrations can be delegated to users or groups that do not have administrative rights in the domain. So all these advantage we have for RODC. So RODC provides several important functions such as credential caching, administrative role separations, read-only DNS. So these things will be in the RODC. To deploy RODC, ensure there is no computer account in Active Directory domain service for the new RODC. We create the read-only domain controller account in ADDS in the domain controllers container. After that, run the ADDS installation wizard on the new RODC. So what it means, we can create another domain controller, and for that we need additional servers. So now we're going to look at how to deploy the RODC. So at first, we're going to look at our servers. Let's open our servers. So we have our DC running, that's fantastic. Let's open our client machines. Everybody please logged into the client machines.
I haven't got the password and username.
So that should be in the chat box. I have shared for everyone. It should be there. Let me check.
Yeah. Yes.
So we go to the second machines, which is the client one.
I have PC2 here off, so can I use this?
You have two machines, right? You have two servers. You can see Andy DC01 is your first servers and VM1 is your second servers last week you have configured, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to use the second, which is VM1. We're going to open that one. So let's open that one.
Oh, okay.
And Anita, it will work. It will not work like that way. So this is your server one. Let me check what other services you have. Okay, you have a server one and they have a VM1. So you work in this way, then it will be easy for you. Logged into your VM1. Everyone logged in. So second servers was part of the domain. So what we'll do, we're going to remove this one from the, do not do any extra things. Then what will happen later on, because everybody will do together, we'll do the same thing. So second servers we're going to open and we're going to remove this one from the domain. So how to remove? We click on change. At first, click on this domain click on change and click on work group. VM1, sorry, this is not from your VM1. You have this servers 1. Okay, so everybody, first thing is the name. Let's go to your Hyper-V manager. Everybody, please open up your Hyper-V managers like me.
It
Same
says
like
mine
same
one says
here.
password is wrong, invalid.
Password is wrong. Let me check. Manish, so your password will be 16 then E8 UF. This is your password. Okay, at first everybody go to this Hyper-V managers. So everybody go. So I can see 1%, 2%, 3%. Yeah. Manish is almost there. Okay. First thing, we right click on, this is our domain controller. Right click and rename. We say DC01. So everybody make your first servers, which is your domain controllers. That servers make DC01.
Yeah.
All good. DC01. So, and second servers, we make it rename to RODC. So when you say, let's go to your DC, you go to your DC. When you say RODC, you'll go to your RODC. Manish, you okay with that? Or
I haven't got the password yet, new password.
so I have sent you, oh, this is goes to another person, sorry. You got it now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now everyone has a DC and RODC, right? Cool, excellent. Cool. Now let's open up your RODC servers. And Manish, your VM1, right click on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So later on you change the outside name. Do not make it big, because if you make big, you'll not be able to go back and do other stuffs. First thing, we're going to click on local servers. And if it is part of the domain, we need to remove this one from the domain. Click over there, click change. After that, we make it work group. We just simply say work. And also computer name, we put RODC. These two changes is required. Everyone there? Yes, fantastic. Manish, if you could change, your one is already a work group. Could you please change the computer name? Computer name should be RODC. And Andy and Anita, yeah, you put administrator and password.
RODC, yeah.
Same, like everyone should have the same name. Change. Otherwise, RODC configurations will not happen. Yes, RODC. No, not RDC, RODC, because later on this name will make other issues. RODC, and click on work group and type work. Yes, and work group.
Okay.
Anita, could you please click on work group and put RODC like this? And click OK. Click OK.
Restart You must restart to apply
Yes,
changes.
yes. You need to restart as well. Administrator, password. So workgroup means is not part of the domain, right? This is a single servers. It's not part of the domain anymore, single servers.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sure.
So if it's the main DC, this
Yes.
one, is it still called a DC or is it called something else?
First one.
Yeah.
First one is DC, domain controller servers. We haven't changed the name, but that's actually just outside name we have changed. So make sure everybody can understand that we are talking about DC01.
Okay.
Now everybody has a IP address. I think I need to change my IP. This is my RODC. So let's check your IP address as well. Okay, restarting. But you put a different name. We say RODC, so that name is APC1. So okay.
Yeah, I changed the name, but it didn't reflect yet.
Oh, okay. Maybe restart or something required. Maybe.
Here, computer name is correct.
So click OK. But if you do not restart,
I'll restart again.
Because if you change the work group full computer RODC, yeah, if you restart the computers, it definitely should change the name.
Change. Okay, I'll restart again.
Okay. All right. So this is a RODC servers. First thing I'm going to do, check the server managers, and I have to make sure everything is okay. Anita, I can see your machines is still client 2. Did you change the name for this one? We're changing the name. We everybody doing the same thing. Okay, why your name didn't get changed? Did you restart or no? Okay, so restart it, and you completely log out from the main servers.
Yeah, I wrongly restart. I think the main server. Sorry for that.
So just looked at all these things. Yeah, I think you need to have a, I think. So when you work in IT, pretty much you do many different remote support. These days, nobody work with like, direct computers, very less, maybe 20% of your job you do directly, but majority of the stuffs you'll manage remotely. So basically remote management is one of the important things as well. Okay. Okay. Okay, so everyone logged into the RODC servers. So if your servers is ready, please logged into the servers. This should be RODC and part of the work group. And everyone should have a IP address 10.2. So IP address should be 190 in RODC servers. IP address should be 192.168.10.2, and you have a subnet mask. After that, DNS servers will be 192.168.10.1. So that will be the RODC servers IP address configurations. Why is taking the updates and stops RODC servers? Click OK. So this is my RODC servers. One 192.168.10.1. Cool. Okay, servers is taking a bit of time to restart and things. So it's when it is ready, then we're going to look at those steps. So managing RODC credential caching. Credential caching is managed through password replications policies. Password replication policies determine which credentials to cache on an RODC. User accounts, computer accounts, contain an allowed and denied list. Allowed RODC password replications group, denied RODC password replications group, and do not cache the domain administrative accounts. So what it means, once you configure the RODC, and then from main domain controller to RODC, which password will be cached over there, we'll be able to configure those things as well, such as which computer's account will be cached, which username and password will be cached in the RODC. We'll be able to control those things. And we'll be able to manage who is going to manage the RODC servers. We'll be able to configure those things as well. So these configurations we're going to look at. And database we're going to look at later on. Cool, excellent. 10.1, excellent. 10.1. Anita, you go back to RODC. Okay. So now everyone's servers, I think, pretty good now. Don't go. This is your DC. DC, don't do anything. Do not make any changes with domain controllers. So your domain controllers looks like is work group. Did you configure the domain controller last week? Why is showing like that? So Don, let me check your computers. It's showing work group status unknown, and it's not showing any domain informations as well.
Was it because last week I was having issues with that?
Yeah, but it should be either work group or it should be, part of the, domain. It should be either one of the status. Let me check. If I click change, no, you have the domain controller. I think this one required restart. Just did you restart it today? This one? No, maybe.
No, I was working on the RDC.
RODC. Okay, so this one just restart, and I think it will fix the issues by itself. Yeah, it's becoming very big resolutions. Okay, now how to configure the RODC? First thing in the RODC servers, everybody good, let's go to RODC servers and we're going to install Active Directory domain services. So this one will be another practice for you, how to configure the domain controllers. So you go to manage, add rules and features. And click next, next, next. We're going to install Active Directory domain services, which is the second options, and add features. And click next, 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 and install. So we are installing Active Directory domain services. That's good. After that, we're going to right click on the start menu, open our command prompt, and then we're going to ping the main servers and check whether is IP communications is okay or not. So ping 192.168.10.1. So right click on the start menu, open up the command prompt and try to ping.
Speaking.
Yes, that's good.
So last time it's same as what we chose, right? When we set up the domain controller, it's also that second role when we choose the domain.
Yes. So this is my RODC. I try to ping again. Yes, this one is good. Andy, you should be fine. Anita is good. Okay. Don, what I'll do, maybe this one is a bit slow at the moment. What do you think?
Yeah, it's it's been stuck on there for a while.
Okay. So what I'll do, I'll provide you the another access. Okay. So just I'll give you the username and password. Just logged into that one.
Yep, thanks.
Welcome. Cool. So you just logged into that servers and you got very similar stuffs over there. So you got your DC. At first, I'll change the name over there. So this one you change the rename. This one is your DC01 and VM3 will be your RODC. Okay, done?
Yep.
Okay, so please rename the VM3 to RODC. Yes, now it should be fine. So open the RODC servers. Okay. Mm. Okay, close all the things, and this is your DC01. So this one you don't have to do anything. Let's go to the RODC machines. Minimize this one. Let's go to RODC, and then we're going to configure like more stuffs over there. Say get updates. Close that window. Okay, so once you install this one, let's go to our main servers, which is DC01. So in DC01, we go to manage, not manage, sorry. We go to tools, and please everyone open Active Directory users and computers. And down this one, I'll just quickly go here, local servers. Oh, this is already work group. That's fantastic. We need to change this one to RODC. That's fine. Okay. So let's go, everyone. Let's go to Active Directory Domain Services, expand, and in here we have a tab called Domain Controllers. Please everyone click on Domain Controllers. So you go to Tools and open the Active Directory Domain Services. Manish, you can't open like that. You need to go to Tools and Active Directory Users and Computers. After that, Domain Controllers, right click on Domain Controllers. See one of the options called Pre-create Read-Only Domain Controllers account. So click on that one and click Next. That's how we secured way we are configuring RODC account. Click Next. So this is saying which computer will be RODC 1. So we need to say RODC. This is our RODC computers. Christine, you okay with that? Don't make any changes. So just follow like that. Click Next. It will be RODC. Let me check 1 second. No. Just wait for a few moments. This is because your DC01, so please follow the instructions properly. Otherwise, it will not configure. So you need to go to domain controller machine. So just follow this one properly. We have a 2 servers. One is RODC, one is like a domain controller. So there's 2 different things. So we're doing this one in the domain controller machines, not in the RODC. So click Next in here. And after that, click Next. So this times your domain controller will verify whether that RODC servers exist in your network or not. So we are doing these stuffs in the actual domain controllers, not in the RODC. So type RODC over there and click Next. So in these sections, who is going to manage your RODC? It's just talking about that. We can set up this one later on. It's not that important, but just need to know that from these locations, you can set up the users who will be able to manage your users or groups who will be able to manage your domain controllers. Click next, next, and finish. So type RODC. And for the rest of the things, click next, 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 and finish. Okay, excellent. So everyone got RODC accounts, but you can see is unoccupied, right? Because we just create the name. We haven't done anything, so it's good. Leave like that. So now that's how first thing you need to create the account. And if we go back to our lecture slide, you can see that this is the first thing it's saying. Ensure there is no computer account in ADDS for new RODC. Recreate the RODC account in ADDS in the domain controllers container. So we configured this account now. One part is done. Now we go back to our RODC. So this is my RODC computer. So let's go everyone to RODC computers. See, there's a two servers we are using, right? One is DC, one is RODC. So when I say let's go to DC, you go to your domain controller machines. When you say RODC computers, so RODC is the second servers, server 2. All good, everyone is there, fantastic. So Manish, I'm saying that let's go to your RODC account. So RODC means second servers. So let's go to your second servers. Okay, so let's go to the RODC servers. In here, see the yellow triangle, everyone. So in here, we're going to promote these RODC servers as domain controller. So click on promote these servers as a domain controller. Remember last week we have configured the domain controller exactly same way, but this time we are configuring RODC. So if you want to configure the RODC, now the options we have: add a domain controller to an existing domain. So today we already have the domain, so we're going to use the first options. And what is our domain name? My domain name is zahid.local. And select. It is asking username and password. So I'll say Zahid at, no, username is, what is my domain name? Zahid, then slash administrator. Then password. That's how you put your domain controllers. And then after that, I'm doing everything in my RODC, not in the DC. So basically you put the yes, it should be vabin.local. Yes. And select, yes, vabin/administrator, and put the password. Yes. No, your domain is different today. Today your domain is, I put in your domain, Manish, your domain is abc.local today. Okay. Select and put abc/administrator and password. So click, once you have done, click OK. And it will retrieve encounter an error contact with the domain controller. The username and password is incorrect. Oops. So
I use administrator. It works.
now I need to put my domain name and administrator. Username and password having some problem. So if you guys, your username and password is okay, so you can move forward. You can click next. You can click next, and then that's how you can move forward. Who got succeed? You must supply a user account name. Okay. So everybody got a same issues. Why?
Oh yeah, mine works. Different error. No.
So what was the issues with the username and password? Is there any issues actually with the username and password?
Mine one
Some-
says server is not operational.
I use the domain administrator. Choose whether to use existing RODC or install this domain controller. Also, it should create a new account.
Sometimes the firewall, just let's go to your actual DC01 and remove this, like turn off this firewall configurations, turn off. Sometimes it make problem as well. I'm not restarting, I'm just like checking my password. That's why I just log out. Yes, it's good. So new domain name wise came up. Okay, who having your one is okay.
We have the same error now. Oh, warning.
No,
Upgrade
your
to
is okay. You should be fine, Andy. This is normal. As long as if you have a if you don't have a red cross, you should be fine.
I'll just type a password.
Yeah, just type the password and then you should be fine. Okay, looks like everyone is good. I put my password. This is the new password for RODC. And after that, it's saying that from which domain controller you're going to copy this one. So I'll select my first servers, which is my initial domain controller. I'm copying my stuff from there, like domain controller information from there. Click next, 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 and after that install. So Manish, you put the user password, capital RATUTE 999, and then put forward. Okay, fantastic. Andrea is good. Andy is good. Yeah, you're looking good. Yes. Put the password, and then it should be fine. Don, you put your domain name Vabin/administrators, then it should be fine. VHAVIN. Yes, click next. Fantastic. So you can select any domain controller, or you can select your actual domain controller. So it will be copied over from there. Click next, 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 and finish. Click OK. Next. It says vabin.local could not be contacted. So is it the can you ping the other server? Done?
No, I've got a general failed.
Okay,
error
so
on it.
let me check 1 second. So what's your IP over there? 10.1 to be in the safe side, just turn off this firewall. You can't ping each other. So what could be the issues? I can't see any issues with your username and password. So you can't ping, or what happened?
So when I ping, I get a general failed error.
General fail. Maybe you change the IP address to 10.3 and see it's working or not, okay? For the client one, just make it 3, and after that, click OK and check like whether it's working or not.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yes, and then if it's pinging or not. If not, then we'll do something else. Okay, everyone got RODC looks like. What's happening with mine one?
Mine got restarted already.
Okay, fantastic. So your one get configured. Okay, my services is being configured. Cool. RODC. So everyone logged into RODC. Manish, your RODC configuration is okay?
Yeah, I can ping to 192.168.10.1.
Okay, so main thing is if your RODC is okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Don, you should be fine. Oops, you cannot ping from your RODC. You can't ping
I'll
that.
pick backwards.
Can you ping your own IP 10.3 from, yes, same servers? Can you ping same IP? No, so that means you got some problem with your NIC card. So let me fix this one. 1 second. Sorry, so servers got like many steps happened. It's normal. Could you please assign the IP address, John, in here? 192.168.10.2. Mask and DNS. Yeah, click OK, and then after that, see is working or not, because we changed the NIC card. So in this way, it should be fine. At first, you check, can you ping yourself or ping the other servers? You put 10.3 or 10.2? Yes, all good. Now, can you ping 10.1? Yes, excellent. Yeah, all good. See, the problem was with the NIC card. So in server side, there's many issues can come up. It's very normal thing. And when you do this kind of configuration, so you need to resolve issues one by one. Now you can go to yellow triangle, and from that, promote this servers as a domain controller, and you follow the rest of the things. I think you should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
waiting for RODC. Yep, cool. Yes, now you change. Yes, good. So now put the password and then click next, 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 should be fine. This is my RODC servers. Okay, so everyone, Manish, your RODC is working. Yes, fantastic. Manish, maybe I might be using the delay. I'll just take from your one. Okay, Manish, I'm just going to show you, don't log into your computers. I'm just showing everyone from your computers, okay?
Yep.
Cool, thank you. So these computers, we can see that this is the servers we have, and this is our RODC. So once you have a read-only domain controllers, we'll go to Tools and Active Directory, Users and Computers. And we can expand the domain controller. So this is we working on our RODC. So we said that everything will be read-only format. So in our RODC, now you can check that if we try to configure something, right-click, you want to create a new user, I can actually create a new user. So it's not like a read-only. The reason why, see, still we are logged into the actual domain controller because we put the administrator's username and password. That's why we are actually logged into the actual servers. Now, right click on this one, change domain controller and select RODC and click OK. Look at that. This is your read-only domain controller. Read-only domain controller means everything we have copied over there, exactly same thing actually came in here. So change domain controller, yes, cool. So change domain controller and select RODC. This is your which servers RODC? Yes, excellent. So right click on the domain controller. No, sorry, right click on the activity users and computers and change domain controller. So you can see this is the RODC. Yes, and expand. So in the read-only domain controller, if you try to create something, you'll not be able to create. Say there's no new button in here. So that is the read-only domain controller. So what happened when you configure this one, it will provide all the authentications. As you can see, your all the OU, like last week we created sales OU, marketing OU, accounting OU, everything is actually came here. So that's the read-only domain controllers. So read-only domain controllers, automatically it will provide all the services and authentications. So this is we can deploy in the branch office. But if you create something on your actual domain controller, those things will automatically transfer to your RODC. And because you logged in as a administrator privileges, that's why you can access both servers. So right click on here, change domain controller, and you select which domain controller you want to manage. If you want to manage the actual one, you can select. If you want to manage read only, you can change that one as well. So once you have a privilege in the domain environment, especially administrative privileges, you'll be able to manage both stuffs. Now, if I go to my actual servers, like this is my actual servers, and if I go to tools, Active Directory, users and computers, and in here, if I even like on the top, if you right click here, you can change domain controller, and then you select which domain controller you want to manage. Normally, when you work for a company, your company may have 4 or 5 different domain controller. They may locate it in different place. For example, something may be located in Melbourne, or like Brisbane, or different locations. But if you work in a central locations, you can right click on the services and change domain controller. In this way, you can select particular domain controller, and after that, you'll be able to manage that one. So in this way, you can have multiple domain controllers inside your network. So if it is a read-only domain controller, you can't make any changes. So that's how you manage the domain controller, and especially we have looked at today how we can manage, how we can create a RODC and what is inside the RODC. That's the main thing we have looked at. RODC will not be able to make any changes, but still all the services from your main domain controller, it will propagate to your RODC, and it will provide all the authentications and services in the branch office.
Is there any specific time for the replication from the DC to RODC? Like what's the interval will it replicate the
So
information?
generally, if you do not set up anything, it depends on the network, latency, how fast your network, how slow your network, it depends on that. But we have another services called Active Directory sites and replications. If we set up that one, we can make it faster, or we can control the replications, but that is different services. But in generally in here, like it depends on the network bandwidth and instance, but there's no other specific replication time for that. All good?
All good.
So RODC, you just need to know how to configure that. And if you have a multiple domain controller, how are you going to manage multiple domain controller? What do you do with that? What is the RODC? How to configure the RODC? So these things you just need to know. So this is mine one. Something happened with mine one. I'll just put this with password. All right, so this section, so we have looked at this stuff. Let's have a look what else we have. Where's our PowerPoint? This one. These things we have looked at. Another thing is Active Directory database services. What is the Active Directory database services? If we go to our actual domain controller, so Active Directory we installed. So Active Directory database is located in C Windows NTDS. This is the actual database, right? Last week we talked about Active Directory domain services is a database. So if we go to the our domain controller machines, if we go to C drive, Windows, NTDS, this is our NTDS sections, and ntds.dit. This is the actual domain controller database. Like we're creating users, computers, and all these things, they're actually storing in these locations. So Active Directory domain services database is called ntds.dit. ntds.dit. So when you create a read-only domain controller, this ntds will be ntds.dit will be copied over in the remote locations. So if we create any users, computers, groups, authentications, everything is actually stored in ntds.dit. This is the file. And this file you can see in the remote locations.
So Sahid, as soon as you
Yes.
create a username or a computer in the DC, automatically it will replicate to
Yes.
RODC?
Yes, sure. Yes, that's
I
correct.
see.
Everything will be copied over to the RODC. So in here, if you create one of the OU or task, it will work normally. Oh, okay, we are RODC, so we change domain controller to actual DC. And now if we want to create something, right click. So Manish computer doesn't have anything, so I'll just create, sales OU or marketing OU. I have just created a couple of marketing OU. So it should propagate to the RODC automatically. In order to check that one, I can actually check from here and see whether it's propagating or not. Not yet, but it will be soon. It may take a bit of time, but it will propagate over there. All right, so what else we have? So Active Directory database, once you have a domain controller, it will have an Active Directory domain services database. It will have a domain partitions, configuration partitions, schema partitions, applications partitions. Inside this database, we have a domain informations, configurations informations. Schema is a database. And if you have installed any application, so it will create a separate sections for that, and applications partitions will be there. Inside the application partitions, all the applications applications or their authentications will store over there. So next sections we're going to look at how to configure and maintain these Active Directory domain services database.